Welcome back to another Blue Review. This is the Wednesday edition. Greg, I know I didn't even know what day it was yesterday.
But I didn't know what day it is today until you said what's the Wednesday edition. So
man,
I'm with you.
I'm glad I got that right. Marcus, welcome back.
It's nice to be back. I'm back, guys. I missed
busy,
you.
No,
busy time for you, huh? I know you got a whole bunch of fantasy.
Yeah, my other job, in case you guys don't know, I work for this little startup called the National Football League. And they're in the midst of their onboarding process. It's free agency, so we have been busy over there talking about guys changing teams for the last couple of days.
Yeah, running backs going to like 15 different teams. Was it about 12 or 15 running backs that changed teams, right?
It's been like musical chairs for running backs. They're all just kind of swapping spots right now. But the good news is they're actually getting semi-paid, which is a thing that hasn't happened the last few years for running backs. So good for
last
them.
Last year was a whole thing of you don't pay running backs. No running backs get paid. And now this year's like, okay, we're going to give them money and new teams.
Yeah, this year is sort of time. I know we're not an NFL show, but it's sort of timing because, there's a lot of decent names out there and the draft class isn't particularly great. So teams are like, all right, well, we'll pay these guys this year. That's it.
Yeah, it's every chance I get, I'm sitting here on like the tweet deck over here and I'm just seeing nonstop NFL updates and it's insane. But
Adam Schefter is a good follow today.
Yes, he is
right now.
Yes, he is. Today or tomorrow the official day?
It's today. It is
today.
1 o'clock our time, like 4 o'clock Eastern, I believe.
Yes. So, the last 2 days have been the legal tampering dates.
Yes.
I love it. My favorite time of the year.
Just let him sign whenever. Don't make some
Seriously.
day. It's not important. It does this in basketball, it doesn't in football, it doesn't in baseball. Just allow it.
Just let them sign. Well, and it's also because like they do this legal tampering and like the period starts at like 9 a.m. Pacific time, but like by 9:30, dudes are already agreeing to deals. And I'm like, you're just telling me in 30 minutes they just worked out a 3-year, $30 million deal, huh? Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
It's not 9:30, it's 9:01.
Right.
9:00:0001.
Oh man.
Well, guys, speaking of getting paid and tampering, legal tampering, all this good stuff, it kind of leads me perfectly into this topic that you could see on like the YouTube title. The Angels didn't trade Ohtani last year, and we're wondering why that was. Greg, you and Travis were having a conversation before the show. I kind of just want to toss this to you because I found this one of the most interesting takes, and it just makes complete sense to me.
So it makes complete sense to me. So Travis and I were talking before the show, and he kind of, I guess, knew this, and I didn't. Maybe Marcus, maybe you did, but the Angels didn't trade Shohei Ohtani at the last year at the trade deadline or any other time for money, because when the Dodgers signed Shohei to a $700 million contract, you essentially get that money back immediately. Every dollar that you get from the Japanese market when they take your games, so like Spectrum Sportsnet LA in Japan, that all goes directly to the Dodgers. So to air the Dodger games in Japan, you get every single cent of that to yourself. So that money comes back immediately. They've already made their money back essentially on Shohei. So no matter what he does, they got their money back. And that's why Artie Moreno didn't actually move. And this is all speculation, by the way. This is just a conversation between me and Travis. It's not sourced by any means. But that's why Artie didn't do it, because he wanted the money to not trade Shohei. Like, because if you traded him, all that money goes to another team, and he wanted that back half of that money. That's amazing to me. It makes so much sense. And as a team like the Angels, I actually kind of respect it.
I mean, okay, so yes, I do. I totally get that. My question then becomes, and again, this is all hypothetical, right?
Yeah.
If you are Artie Moreno, if you are the Angels, is it bad form just to come out and say that, as opposed to hey, we're keeping him because we think we're still in the race, only to promptly fall out of the race like a week after the trade deadline? I mean, like, I get it. Like, like these dudes are trying to make money. I totally understand that. But like, I feel like if that's really the reason they didn't trade him, why wouldn't they just say like, hey, by the way, man, this is revenue for us too? Or are fans just like not going to accept that answer?
I mean, I guess Artie could do whatever he wants. Fans aren't going to accept anything he does.
He already does.
And he's the devil in every sense of the word. So But think about it, though. You know Shohei's leaving in the offseason. You know that you're not going to nobody wants to trade with you because you're going to ask for too much, and he's a rental. If you try to trade him to, the Kansas City Royals, they're not going to keep Shohei in the offseason. So what are they going to give you any of their prospects for? So you're not going to get a huge return. And at the same time, you might as well just say, let's just keep the money. Like, that's all that matters. He's going to be gone anyway. I'm not going to get anything for him.
Right.
Give me the money that I get from having you here and for the last 6 years. You didn't give me playoff money. But that wasn't his. That wasn't
Shohei's fault. That wasn't Shohei's fault. It hasn't been Mike Trout's fault. I mean, just so many other people to blame.
That was just a shot at the Angels. That's all. And it was shot to Parker, really.
It's fair. It's fair. And if that is the case, and they did get that money, I don't know why you aren't using it on Snell right now. But anyways,
Snell or Montgomery,
yeah,
just go get one of them.
Either one of the two. The argument that that they don't do it just doesn't make any sense, because granted, yes, you aren't going to be a contender, but what's wrong with even just attempting to get Trout closer to the playoffs? Just the attempt. I don't think there's anything really wrong with that.
No, I mean, you're absolutely right. It's funny too, because people always talk about, look about the Dodgers and spending money and like all these big clubs that are spending a lot of money. And I'm like, spending money isn't necessarily the answer. You have to spend wisely. Like, the Angels haven't necessarily been shy about spending. They have like a lot of money tied up in a third baseman who apparently doesn't like baseball. Stuff like that. So it's not just spending. It's spending wisely.
Yeah. Did you see? You brought up Anthony Rendon, and God, he's such a jerk for what he says about the game of baseball itself. It's like him and Rob Manfred were just mixed from the same batch. Both of them hate the game of baseball. But did you see Joey Votto's comments about baseball the other day? But before he signed with, I forgot, was it Toronto?
The Blue Jays.
Minor league.
Yeah.
Before he signed, he's like, who wouldn't want this job? Who wouldn't want to go out there and go out every day? I love it so much. He was just expressing so much love for the game itself. And then you take that and you put it next to Anthony Rendon absolutely hating the sport and not wishing it upon his worst enemy to be a baseball player. You make millions of dollars playing a game outside, and you don't even have to run all the time. You're standing there 3/4 of the game.
That's the thing. Like, baseball is not nearly as physical as, like, you could be a football player, right, where you are smashing into other large humans on a regular basis. Like, that's the job. I mean, you could, basketball, you run a lot, and there's a lot of wear and tear on your knees and ankles from jumping. Like, you don't have a lot of that in baseball. But I will also say, and I say this to people all the time, like, who maybe, who are maybe fans who don't work in sports media or whatever, that there are a lot of professional athletes who don't necessarily love their sport. They do it because they are good at it, and it's a way to make a lot of money in a relatively short amount of time. The difference is not all of them are as blatantly, nakedly obvious about it as Anthony Rendon. And so, like, I don't know if that honesty is refreshing or off-putting, because I think like the average person sits here like us, like, man, that would seem to be a whole lot better than having a 9 to 5 and commuting to an office and sitting behind a desk all day. So, like, I guess in one respect it's refreshing that he's honest, but in other words, it's like, hey man, like, at least pretend a little bit, right? Make us feel better about, being stuck on the 405 at rush hour, right? Like, make me feel better about it.
So that's kind of how Carlos Vela at LAFC was always seen as a guy that didn't really like the sport. He was just really, really good at soccer, and he wanted to make money. But he didn't, just like you said, blatantly go out there and be like, I hate this sport, but I'm playing because I want to make money, and also getting hurt all the time, and who knows what his injuries really are. But I don't want to speculate, but that was how Vela was. But he won a championship with LAFC. Like, he put out that full effort. Rendon's not even doing that. He's not even putting out the full effort. He's just being a jerk, and it's just really off-putting. The way you put it, it's off-putting.
It's off-putting.
Everything he says is extremely off-putting.
Yeah.
So speaking of the wear and tear you were mentioning, Marcus, of the game and how maybe baseball is not as, tough on the body as some other sports. There are certain positions, though, that could be a little tougher. And our guy, Mookie Betts, has now transitioned to shortstop. We've been mentioning this, all the issues with Lux and just the left side of the infield. We've now moved, what is it, a 6-time Gold Glover in the right field over to short. I know he had the whole second base experience, but how tough is this going to be on him? Just what are our thoughts on this? Is it sustainable? And, moving forward, looking at the second half of his career, is this a long-term thing? Is he going to stay there?
I think he's going to be there for a while. I wouldn't be surprised if he's there for most of, if not all of this season. I think in terms of the fine details of playing shortstop, there will be growing pains, but I think Mookie's athleticism and his general being good at baseballness will sort of help him get through a lot of this. I go back to, let's take it all the way back to like Little League, right? And youth sports, like usually the best athletes on the team, the kids who were best at sports, like they were pitchers, they were shortstops, they were like center fielders, right? And it feels like Mookie was probably like the best kid on his team, the best kid in his neighborhood at sports. So I think just in terms of straight up athletic ability, I think he can play the position. There will be small things, right? Like little nuanced things that he probably has to sort of work on right now. But I think overall, I think it'll be a decent experience. And I think most importantly, look, after I know it's only been a few weeks, right? But watching Gavin Lux in the return, catch the ball, throw the ball. I think that's what Dodger fans want right now out of their starting shortstop. And it's not what Lux was doing consistently.
No, yeah, I'm totally with you. I think he's going to be the starting shortstop for the entire season. I could see them possibly going to try and make a trade for Willy Adames or, moving Miguel Rojas in, but I don't think if they use Rojas, I don't think it's at short. That's just my guess. He is that good. He will be that good. Dansby Swanson was talking about how now he's going to be the Gold Glover at shortstop. So these are things that are going to happen. But I think Gavin Lux has a lot to prove right now, even at second base. He is starting today at second base. There's their final spring training game in the Cactus League. He's starting at second base. I think today is a really, really, really big day for him. And this is in the question that's right here from Stone Steve Mason, Dodger opening day. Who starts at short and second base, in your opinion? If Gavin Lux wants to start at second base, I think today is the day to make that happen. If he has a clean game, he can actually throw from second to first cleanly and play a good enough defensive game. I think he'll be the starting second baseman. If he does not, I don't think he'll be starting at second base come next week when they play in the Seoul series. I just don't think he has it's in his head now. We talked about the yips that he has them. If it is a problem again today, I think he might be done for a long time with the Dodgers.
That's a really sad thing to think. I don't think you're totally wrong. I think in order for him to overcome that, he would have to be exceptionally good at the plate. Which again is also asking a lot for a guy who hasn't played baseball in a year, right? And so, that definitely causes a shakeup because, Dave Roberts, everybody in that front office went into this year thinking, okay, well, Mookie Betts is going to be our right fielder. Gavin Lux is going to be our shortstop. And here we are 1 week from, I use air quotes, opening day for the Dodgers. And now you are really shuffling at a couple of key defensive positions. So, I don't know. I'm hoping that going back to second base where he began his career is sort of comforting, that maybe there's just less mentally for him to process there. And I think you're right. I think what we see today, and I don't know if he plays in Seoul at second base. I'm not sure. But I think it's going to be really critical these next couple of games to see what Gavin Lux is doing over there.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I'm just worried. I know that I don't think, and we talked about it a little bit with Parker yesterday. This matters for Dave Roberts, and it matters for what he's doing here. There's a lot of pressure on him. The team has a lot of pressure. Every single day, there's going to be constant talk about what you do well and what you don't do well. And if you have a guy going into the season that is not doing well, the national media, the media in LA, media everywhere is just going to latch onto and say, look, this team has flaws. As much as you went out and spent over $1 billion, there's a flaw. We can exploit that flaw, and maybe that's something that we can say you're doing poorly, and that we can go and beat you with because of it. So, and with Lux at the plate, he has nothing more than singles. Like, yes, it's over 300, but you can get a lot of guys that can go out there and just slap a ball around. Like Rojas can get a hit every once in a while. The difference between 250 and 300, while it over a long season is a decent amount, that's all you really need. If you're just hitting singles, we don't actually need you on the field. Somebody else can do that.
I mean, and you did mention the slug a lot these last few episodes of the Blue Review.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Exactly. So, I mean, I see Carlos Sanchez in the chat. You know, he was saying, hoping the Dodgers farm or draft a young shortstop stud. I mean, or maybe is there somebody already in there who you guys know off the top of your head? But he says he is worried about Mookie at short. He's getting older. He'll be 31 this year if he's not already 31. And there's a lot of diving at short. I guess that kind of leads me into the insurance policies after, if Lux is not that guy. When looking at Kike, CT3, Rojas, I mean, who do you guys like of those three, and who would you like to see more often? I think Rojas has maybe been the name mentioned most by you guys, but what if Kike steps up more?
Yeah, I mean, I think Kike can play there. The beauty of Kik Hernandez is that he is that Swiss Army knife that you can use in so many different places. Like, you can get a few innings at short, at third, in the outfield. I don't know that Kike is a guy who can play for you every day. I think you'll start to see that fall off a little bit if you're asking him to get 3 at bats a day every single day. But I think he's a guy that can fill in. I don't love the idea of a platoon at shortstop, right?
No.
I think you need one guy who can play there every day. And I think the point is well taken that, yes, there's a lot more wear and tear on the body at short. Although, look, there's a lot of wear and tear in right field too. So we'll see. But yeah, look, best case scenario is that Gavin Lux figures it out. They could put him back at short. They could put Mookie back in right field. But it seems like that ship may have sailed, at least for the short term.
So from what I understand, I don't think Mookie Betts is ever going to play right field again. I think he wants to be in the infield. He wants to save his body, and he doesn't want to use everything that you have to do in right field, diving and running into walls, jumping. He doesn't want to do it anymore. He's obviously an amazing right fielder, and that's kind of why you have Jason Hayward and some of the other guys that can play that position. But I think he wants to be a second baseman, and so I think he wants to be in the only problem is if you put him at shortstop, you're not really saving his body that much. Shortstop is still a very, very vigorous position that you have to do a lot. So you're not saving his body that way as much as you were hoping for by kind of hiding him at second base a little bit, not because of his defensive abilities, but because you don't really have as much that you have to dive. There's some, but it's not as much as at shortstop. So I think if you are going to move Gavin Lux back into anything, hopefully to shortstop, I don't think he can ever make that throw, but it'll be somebody else, and Mookie would then slide over to second. I think he's going to play right field in a pinch when you need him to, but otherwise I think his career and right field is over.
And I think if you mentioned his podcast, I think it was with Dansby Swanson the other day. What was it? On Base with Mookie. And I honestly think this second half of his career, this is his dream come true. Shortstop. He's going back to what he did at 18. Yeah, shortstop himself. He said it was one of the best moments of his life hearing that he's now going to be the everyday shortstop. So
wow.
I think to that point, just the fact that he loves this position so much, that might change the narrative just a little bit. But speaking of the narrative, I want to play a little. Go ahead, Greg. Yeah, go ahead.
Wait, before you do that, that's one reason I think that when you moved Mookie to short, I think that was a conversation with Andrew Friedman, Doc, all those people. And then he said, if you move me to short, I'm now the shortstop. I don't want to be moved. I'm focusing on this. This is what I'm going to be playing day in and day out. I don't want to be switched around and moved around. So I think that once he got to shortstop, that was it. He goes nowhere. He is now the Dodgers shortstop for as long as he's with the Dodgers.
Yeah. I mean, Mookie and Dansby were talking about Ernie Banks, Honus Wagner, all these, shortstop greats, all these infield greats. And I think Mookie, just his heart lies with that side of the infield. And that's exciting to hear as a Dodgers fan. But looking at some of the shortstop, just to have a little fun before we end here, some of the best shortstops of last year. Kind of want to ask you guys. I know this. We're going to try to be as unbiased as possible. I'll name a few names, and you guys let me know if you think Mookie will have a better year at shortstop than them. Shortstop to shortstop comparison. So out in Toronto, Bo Bichette.
Yes.
Better year, Mookie Betts. Okay.
You think Mookie Betts is going to have a better year, Marcus?
Yes, than Bo Bichette. Yes.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay, let's his guy who we just had the podcast with, Dansby Swanson.
Not defensively, offensively.
Yes, agree.
Mm-hmm. He's kind of taken a dip in the recent years. Lindor.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think he's all that great anymore.
Okay, there's one name we know it won't be, and that's Corey. How about Xander?
Corey's going to have a better year.
Corey Seager will have a better year than Mookie Betts.
We'll put that out there. Bogarts.
I'm going to go yes, but slightly.
Yeah, it's close. I may give it to Bogarts, but it is a coin flip.
Okay, and probably another name that's going to be tough, but you never know with injuries. Correa. Somebody us Dodgers fans have a great history.
I'm gonna just say Mookie has a better year just on principle.
Yep.
Yeah. You want me to be unbiased, and then you throw in Carlos.
You throw Carlos Correa, like that goes out the window at this point.
No, it's yes, he will have a better year. It's gonna be massively better.
That's what I was hoping for. I was hoping for that reaction. Just wanted to have a little fun before we ended here. By the
way, while we were talking, I was looking up guys who have won Gold Gloves at multiple positions.
There's only a few.
2, to be exact.
Wow.
One was former Angel, Darren Erstad, who
really
won it as an outfielder and one as a first baseman. The other, and I never would have come up with this in a million years, Placido Polanco, who
second and third,
correct.
Whoa.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah. There it is.
Remember, you and I, Marcus, we used to do the fantasy sports.
Yeah.
Our fantasy baseball over. I remember Placido.
Yeah. I mean, I remember him as a player. I never would have come up with him winning Gold Gloves at multiple positions.
Wow.
Probably not.
If Mookie pulls that off, just put him up there already as top 5 all time, because that's just.
I mean, especially at positions so diverse as right field and shortstop.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, the Polanco thing, second and third. You can kind of understand it. That. Erstad went from what, second to.
Yeah, I mean
Erstad a right field as well.
You know, Erstad was a center fielder.
Center and first
base, but that like a lot of outfielders when they get a little older, they move to first base,
right?
Thing,
mm-hmm.
You know. So.
Wow. Well, we will just have to wait.
That's a straight line.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, Mookie's words were exciting, and they did instill some confidence, at least in me, and I hope they do in, all Dodgers fans. Lux, we know that we're not going to be instilling any confidence anytime soon unless we see, like you said, Greg, tonight. Tonight is the test. We have to see it because they're heading to Seoul literally tomorrow or the next day after that. So, guys, we're gonna end it here. We're gonna move on to Travis and Sliwa right after this. But before I do anything, I just want to remind everyone that the Blue Review is presented by Los Angeles International Airport. They're changing the travel experience, So we're speaking of the Dodgers traveling to Seoul. Well, the LAX, speaking of that, and this incredibly smooth transition by me, LAX is reducing traffic, saving guest time, and transforming that experience. So find out more at flylax.com/transforminglax. Keep on tuning into the Blue Review. Greg, I'll let you close us out as we head towards the Seoul series.
Yeah, thanks. 1:00 today, Yamamoto pitching, and you got your normal top of Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, and watch Gavin Lux at second base today. But that's going to do it for the Blue Review. Thank you very much. Thank you to the chat every day here, 9:30 a.m. to 9:55, right before Travis and Sliwa, Monday through Friday. And we'll see you again tomorrow. And, oh, by the way, Mace is going to join us tomorrow, Marcus. So we're going to have some fun with Steve Mason tomorrow.
Awesome.
So there we go.
Very cool.